Thank you for joining the Red Team Village at ActivityCon today. Our next speaker is Nate Curry, and he will be discussing breaking into the industry with no experience. Don't forget to join us in our channel on the HackerOne Discord server.
I'm gonna have to go into hardcore hacking mode.
So, you took the red pill. Here we are. You want to become a hacker? You want to break into this industry? Well, you came to the right talk. I'm going to show you how to become a hacker. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody. Hopefully you like that intro. Me and my hacker outfit there. I wear that every time I hack. Apparently, you have to do that according to Google Images in order to be a hacker. But my name is Nate. Again, thank you for joining this talk. If you're here, that means that you're interested in learning how to break into the industry. Maybe you have no experience. Maybe you have a little bit of coding experience or something like that. But maybe it's your endeavor to get into cybersecurity. So it's going to be my job and my passion right now, as quickly and as clearly as possible, to communicate to you how you can get into the cybersecurity field and become a hacker. So stay tuned here. I'm going to assume everybody in this video also is starting from scratch. You have no experience, just so I can encompass everybody into this talk. When I entered into this field, I had no experience, so I know how it feels. Is really tough, but if you're passionate, you can make it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it for sure. Also, one thing, I'm going to try to, again, be crisp, clear, and right to the point. I'm going to try my best to give you nothing but answers. So I don't want to be philosophical and all this other stuff. I'm going to give you nothing but answers to make you have a clear understanding of exact things you can do to immediately help yourself get into this industry. So one of the first questions that people ask is, what do you do when you don't have any experience? And how do you get experience before you get a cybersecurity job and without going to jail? Like, how do you hack and do all this stuff? Like, how do you become a hacker without hacking people before, right? So I said I wasn't going to get philosophical, but here I am, right? So the ways you can get experience before you get the job, I'm going to lay some of those things out. But first, what you need to do is think about what makes you you right now, and think about some niche things about you, because that's going to determine what you do in terms of getting experience right now before you get the job. So what I mean is, right now, are you good at, let's say, coding? Can you code? Most people can't code. If they can code, that means they're probably programming and have a good level of experience. But can you publicly speak? Are you a good writer? Can you pick locks? Again, I'm thinking in terms of like technical things. Can you build a computer? Can you take a computer apart? Are you good with Excel or Word or anything? Just, have you ever set up your own Ring device on your network? The Ring cameras for your doorbell and things. Have you ever set one of those up before? So just think about like niche things or niche things about yourself, and think about creative ways that you can use those skills that you have right now to contribute in a cybersecurity manner to the cybersecurity community. So let's say, for instance, I have set up, a Ring device. Okay, maybe I'll set up my neighbor's Ring device that I know that has one. Okay, so you're getting experience doing technical things. Ring device, camera, cybersecurity. It's a secure device, whatever. You know what I mean? So just, you're taking a small step, and again, it's a baby step into the industry, but just thinking like that. And that was just a wild example that I just pulled out of the hat right now. But just training yourself to think about that, like, what can I do now with my skill set to contribute to the cybersecurity community? Oh my goodness, cybersecurity community is going to help you tremendously. Other things that you can do, again, gaining experience before you get the job. You can speak locally. You can even talk to kids and things like that about cybersecurity and tech things and things that you're learning. I imagine that the people that are in this talk, you can you probably have done some research on the topic or heard about a hack or something like that. You can research and study a topic that interests you and present that topic to a group that doesn't know about it, and that's a way for you to get cybersecurity experience. Maybe you can talk to your family or create a club at your school, or again, you really have to be creative. And I'm doing my best right now just to grab things and come up with things. You're going to be much better at creating a scenario that fits you right now. I'm just showing you ways that you can just do that right now from your chair, and just think about ways that you can begin contributing. The key is just using your skills to contribute to the community, and being able to obviously document that and show that when it comes time to be interviewed. One thing that I did when I was trying to get experience before I had a cybersecurity job, I had been learning and researching cybersecurity things, and I ended up volunteering for my church to help them out with cybersecurity. And they actually had, at the time, their website was compromised. And whenever you search for our church online, it said that it was a malicious, don't all the bad jokes about, but it said that it was a malicious website, and that the site was compromised, and be careful visiting a link. So I actually went in there and was able to, again, my experience was performing the attack. So I didn't even have experience fixing attacks, but I volunteered anyways and ended up being able to fix the website and resolve the issue that it was having with Google. My church was extremely thankful to me. I was extremely thankful to my church for letting me get in there and dig around and poke around. And I gained a lot of experience from it, gained a lot of confidence from it, and was able to, again, it helped me get to where I am right now. And now that story is being used to help you all right now. So the things you do, and this was years ago, so the things you do right now matter and will help you in the security space in the future. Another thing, do you have a blog? Blogging is a great way that you can do, and it'll even show interviewers beforehand. So again, let me start from the top. Creating a blog is a great way that you can show your skills that you're developing over time. So let's say that you start out and you just learn a new technique, and you just learn that you can use Nmap or something like that. And you just, wow, Nmap is awesome. I didn't know that it could do this, this, and that, and this. If you take a moment and document those things and put it in a blog, others can benefit from that. And when it comes time to, for your interviewer and people to look at you to hire you, they say, well, who is this, John Smith that's coming to apply for a job? Why should we hire this person? Oh, did you know this person has a blog? I didn't know that. Let me go and check them out. And just based on the content that you have on your blog, people can read your blog and see, whoa, this guy knows how to do this and that, and we need this guy to show us. Or maybe they'll even learn from your blog before you even get to the in-person interview. And so blogging is extremely helpful in getting you into the industry and getting you a penetration testing job for sure. So I would dare say, if there's one thing that I would say that you should do 100% is create your own blog. And you can do that. It's pretty straightforward. There's many ways. You can even do a WordPress. I mean, don't do WordPress, but you could. When I actually started my blog, it was a WordPress. So you just make a blog, okay? Just make a blog. Also, understanding what kind of pen testing you enjoy as well will help you out tremendously. So knowing whether or not you like mobile hacking, Wi-Fi hacking, internal, external network, AWS code reviews, web app, reverse engineering. Like if you come into the industry knowing physical assessment, like if you come into the industry knowing that I love web app testing, I love bug bounting. Web app is like hacking websites. Like if I know that I love doing that and that's my passion and what drives me, that's going to help you out extremely, because then when you're training right now and you're focused on building up your skills, you can push towards that direction. Same thing with mobile hacking too. Like if you know that you're an Android person and you love taking things apart and IoT devices and all that, you can curtail your skill set right now as you're building yourself up to go in that direction. And it helps you a lot too when you can sit down in an interview and look everyone in the eye and say, hey, I'm a web app guy. I'm a web app guy. I can, I have tons of experience. I have bug bounties to back it up. I have a blog here that, I have CVEs and, you have all this experience that shows that you are a web app person. It's going to, again, help the interviewers make a decision on you when you go for the job. Another question, what's your home lab look like? Whenever you go for a pen testing interview or, most people expect you to have some sort of lab environment in your home, and by lab, I don't mean your background to look like this or anything like that, but they expect you to have devices and things of that nature where you're doing testing, you're learning. They may say, what kind of virtual machines do you have set up where you're learning? Again, I'm talking about the individual that is just starting out, because people are the people interviewing you are gonna want to know how you're learning right now. So they're gonna be very curious about, what you've been doing at home in terms of cybersecurity, and like how you set up like your virtual machines and things of that nature, just to kind of get a gauge on your aptitude for technical things. So do you have a lab full of Bone Hub machines? Are you just doing hack the box all the time? Do you have a server rack or something like that? People are going to want, do you have cloud servers, AWS domain or something? People are going to want to know, what you have set up and what you're working on right now in terms of cybersecurity in your home environment. And if you don't know how to set any of that up, you can get like VMware. You can actually get VMware Pro out there. They have the keys listed out there. You can actually download that, but you didn't hear that from me. But yeah, you can set things up relatively free too. None of this, and that's the great thing about the cybersecurity industry. A lot of this beginning phase that you're in right now is free. You shouldn't have to be paying anything. Only time you really have to pay for something is if you're taking a certification or course and things like that. But you really shouldn't have to pay anything in the first initial phase of where you are right now. Aside from the home thing, another thing, this kind of goes back to the mention about the DEF CON meetings and things like that. Have you met anybody in the cybersecurity community? And I don't think I actually mentioned the DEF CON stuff in this talk. DEF CON puts together meetings. There's a group, for those of you that don't know what DEF CON is, DEF CON puts together an annual meeting every year. They have it in Vegas. All hackers from all across the world go out and attend this meeting and or presentations and things like that. So anything hacking related will be at this conference. I think it's like a few days in Vegas or whatever. But DEF CON also has like local chapters all across America. So like if you're in Dallas or Phoenix or wherever, New York, there's local DEF CON chapters and things like that where you can go to the meetings and meet people, and they're spread and anybody can come. Yeah, you can learn and meet people, and it'll be a great way to get plugged in. And I would even say most pen testing jobs and things like that are staffed via referrals. So yeah, so going to these meetings, and DEF CON isn't the only group that puts together these cybersecurity meetings. There's other smaller cybersecurity clubs and things of that nature that you can go to. I can't think of any off the top of my head. 303 in Denver, things like that. So shout out to 303. But there's a bunch of different clubs and things like that you can get involved in locally if you just look for them. I know meetup.com, you can just find cybersecurity groups. Yeah, so again, already we've touched on so much, and I know it's a lot to digest. I'm just kind of throwing a lot of different things out there at you. We talked about, thinking about yourself and your skill set. We talked about going to local meetings, cybersecurity meetings that you can find. We talked about building a blog for yourself. We also talked about, figuring out what types of hacking that you like, whether it's mobile and internal and things like that. And we also talked about setting up a home lab. So I'm just kind of rehashing that so you can kind of stay up on some of the ideas. And again, I'm available for questions if you guys have questions. But yeah, on the topic, have you met anyone in the cybersecurity community right now that can help you? A big thing that you need, and I cannot stress this enough. You need to find a mentor. You need to find a mentor. I would not be here if it was not for my buddy Tawintum that used to work at OffSec. I forget, I'm not sure where he is now. My buddy Cheese Please, he drilled me with questions, beat me up. He put me through boot camp, made me cry a couple times, but I'm super thankful for those two for really showing me everything in the cybersecurity world. And you need people like that to show you and to teach you and to help you. And the way you go about finding a cybersecurity mentor is just ask people. If you've been on Hack the Box in the forums and things like that, or if you've been really, there's just so many different places where you can ask. And even if you find a peer just like yourself that is just passionate, and the two of you get together and work and study together, and where you can bounce ideas off each other and you set up labs together and stuff, that type of relationship will last you a lifetime for sure, and will help you tremendously in your skill set. But again, if you can find someone that can help teach you, you can even go on Twitter and just ask people. If you see someone following a thread or a comment, just start a conversation and just say, hey, are you a pretty decent, at pen testing? Or, they may say no, but it's just great to just reach out and just look for a mentor. Over the years, I've had quite a few people ask me to mentor, and I have 3 or 4 formal mentors where I've asked them, can you be my mentor, in those words verbatim? And they have agreed to be my formal mentor. So you definitely need a mentor. I'll help you out. I mean, obviously I can't mentor everybody, but I mean, if you ask me a question, I do my best to answer no matter what time it is. So yes, you need a mentor. But all of these things I'm talking about right now, these are ways that you can get experience before you get the job. Okay. All these things that we talked about, you can get experience before you actually get a pen testing job. So everything that we discussed, going to meetings, mentors. One thing I didn't mention was doing bug bounties. That's another way. So if you're actually have the technical aptitude to do bug bounty programs, there's something called HackerOne. If you Google HackerOne, they put out bug bounties where you can hack companies that put out bounties for bugs and get paid, even if you're able to show them a report where you found a vulnerability in the listed companies. So again, it does kind of require a lot of time and skill, but if you're able to get a successful bug, that will communicate volumes when you go for your interview and you say, hey, look, I participated in these bug bounties and I was successful. Other companies that do bug bounties other than HackerOne, there's BugCrowd, and then there's Synack Red Team, SYNAK, I believe is how you spell it. Maybe CK, I'm not sure. But Synack Red Team, these are other groups that do bug bounties. So if you're able to do those, and again, they may be pretty difficult for someone with no experience. It'll be really, really, really hard because you have everyone attempting to do these at the same time. So, it's kind of competitive, but if you're able to, it will speak volumes. Another thing, getting technical aptitude. So, how do you actually get better at hacking before you get a penetration testing job? Like, how do you actually get better at hacking before you get the hacking job, right? That's the question. So what I recommend is doing something called VulnHub, VULNHUB, VULNHUB. VulnHub, I recommend that. So it's like vulnhub.com. What you have there is just a bunch of vulnerable systems that you can download to your computer. And if you research how to like set up a virtual machine and like a virtual network and things like that, you can set up these systems so you can just hack within your own local network. So you're not like hacking, NSA.com or anything crazy like that. You're hacking systems that are yours, that are on your network, that you've downloaded. It's kind of like breaking your own furniture, so to speak. You own it, it's yours. You can hack these systems on your own network to learn. And I recommend VulnHub instead of Hack the Box in the beginning phase for people that don't have experience for this reason. VulnHub has the walkthroughs available. Now, I don't know if Hack the Box has, because they're way more up to date and things like that. And it looks cool, it's very attractive. There's competitive things. It looks like a video game when you go on there. It's very beautiful and things like that. But VulnHub has the walkthroughs and things like that where people have PDFs of reports of things and steps that they've gone through. And the reason why it's important for you to get that is because right now where you're at, you need a methodology. The key thing about that's going to help you shorten and flatten your learning curve is for you to get a methodology. And a methodology is for you, a methodology is what you use every single time you approach a penetration test. So every time you sit at your keyboard to go and hack a system, you already have an idea of what you're going to do. So first it'll look like, okay, I'm sitting down at my computer. I know I'm going to run nmap to see what ports are open. And then, after that, you're going to assess the ports and things and just so forth and so on. But a methodology just says, I know what I'm going to do when I approach a penetration testing assessment. And the best way, again, to do that is by reading other people's methodologies, is my point. What my understanding, again, Hack the Box may have updated their stuff where their old machines, they put the walkthroughs up there. And I know there's IPSEC videos on YouTube, IPPSEC on YouTube. But that Hack the Box content is a lot higher. Again, there's a big debate that goes on, in the cybersecurity community about Hack the Box, VulnHub, and like what you should do when you start out. My position has always been do VulnHub because Hack the Box can be incredibly difficult for people that are starting out. And again, they have the forums and things like that where you can ask people, but the difficulty of the machines can be a lot harder and it won't be as clear as, having just a walkthrough available. Again, you don't want to just rely on walkthroughs, but you do when you first initially start out and you have no experience because you won't have a context for anything. Like you'll just be, you wouldn't know what to do. Like even if someone could give you the biggest hint in the world on Hack the Box and you won't know what to do because you don't have a context of a methodology. That's my point. So that's why I say start with VulnHub. Then once you get skills, you get better with tools and things like that. Then you can. I encourage Hack the Box. I love Hack the Box. It's super fun. So, but I would say start out with VulnHub. Another thing too, if you can't even do VulnHub, you like have no Linux experience, you can start out with something called War Games, WARGAMES, War Games, and do Bandit, 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 like a cowboy bandit, Bandit over the wire. And what that is, it's kind of like a game again. It's like it's kind of like a ladder, so to speak, where they have like level 1 through like 20 or something. And what it does is it teaches you how to use Linux. So if you don't know how to use a terminal, you've only used like a mouse and things like to move around and the GUI of your computer, graphical user interface of your computer, and you never use a terminal and you want to learn, how like on the Matrix, the black screen and terminal. If you want to learn that, a great way is doing Bandit over the wire challenges. Again, some of the challenges will get extremely difficult. So there's walkthroughs available for that too, that will teach you and tell you exactly what to do. So I encourage Bandit over the wire and VulnHub to start out and get better. Third thing that you can do to get better technically, find out what the popular skills or the popular tools are and get good with them. So tools like Burp Suite, Cobalt Strike, if you find a way to get better at Cobalt Strike, I'm not sure if they have a free version, But if you can get Cobalt Strike experience before coming to the cybersecurity industry, that will be extremely huge for you, because Cobalt Strike can do a lot of advanced evasion techniques and things like that. Another tool, Crack Map Exec, or excuse me, Crack Map Exec. It's very hard to say. Crack and then map, like you're looking at a map, and then exec, is a tool by Bytebleeder. Very awesome internal tool. Tools like Mimikatz, PyPyCats, Secrets Dump, Bloodhound. Again, just knowing the tools, the modern day tools that hackers use today, and the popular tools that people that already have the jobs that you want use. If you can get familiar with those tools and come to an interview already knowing the things that they use, there's no reason not to bring you on board, because you already are familiar with the same content and have the same skills as everyone working there. So yeah, so if you can get good with the skills, with the popular tools that are being used today, that's going to set you apart. Also, it's going to help you get better prerequisite knowledge too, to take a course like the OSCP. You can't, I don't recommend anyone just start out from scratch by joining the OSCP, which is the actual course name is PWK, Pen Testing with Cali. But if you just immediately join the 3-month, you're more than welcome, but you're going to lose, going to end up like wasting a lot of your money and a lot of lab time and things like that, because you're going to have to ramp up and get the skills that you would get from doing Bandit over the wire right now. So like getting your Linux skills and things like that up right now, before you take a course like PWK, is going to help you out a lot more once you do go to get certified in this industry. Yeah. So, and again, that speaks for itself. Getting certified, getting your OSCP. Shout out to Kevin Clark on getting his OSCP. But if you go out and get your OSCP, that's going to speak volumes and show that you're passionate as well. Also, another thing to note too is, one thing you'll notice in the beginning portion of like when you're trying to build up your skills and you're doing CTFs and things like that, most capture the flags and things like that have a Linux-based bias to them. So there's not a lot of Windows in the early stages of you learning. So what's going to happen is, as you learn, you're going to get really good with Linux. You're going to learn a lot more about like exploiting Windows systems, but you're not really going to have Active Directory experience and like hacking in a corporate network context. You're not really going to know the methodologies that apply to hacking a corporate network. And if you come, and this is kind of a big point here, is if you come to an interview, a pen testing interview, and all is like capture the flag techniques, it's going to look really bad on you, because not all capture the flag methodologies apply to a corporate network. So for example, if you launch this big brute force attack, and a brute force attack is like when you're guessing a bunch of different like passwords for a particular user. So let's say I'm trying to guess, Nate's password, and I submit 100,000 bad passwords in a corporate network. What's going to happen? The corporate network is going to lock my account out. So, because you know how you enter the password on your phone too many times, I'm assuming you don't know, what I'm talking about, but like if you enter your password too many times, it makes you wait, like hours, days, whatever. So imagine somebody doing that 100,000 times for your thing, you're going to lock yourself out. So the same thing applies, there's been times where people have locked out entire company, like hundreds of thousands of users accounts are locked now. If you use that capture the flag mentality in the corporate setting, it could be very, very bad. And again, that costs the company money, and it's not a good situation if something like that happens. And there's other cases other than doing something like a brute force. There's other things, just having a CTF mentality, not cleaning up after yourself and things, like it can be bad. And the reason why I say all this is just so that you don't come off during your interview. You don't want to come off when you come to an interview as just a CTF guru, when all you do is just, capture the flags. You want to make sure that you get a balance of Windows systems, one, and then have a good understanding of like Active Directory hacking. So the question too is, well, how do you do that? how do you get Windows experience? It is going to take a level of creativity and research on your part. You're going to have to look up different areas that have Active Directory environments set up. I know that Hack the Box, this is where I kind of will plug Hack the Box. Hack the Box does do a good job of keeping a balance of Linux and Windows systems so that you can get good with both. So after you do get better and start getting a methodology, then you can start poking around with the Windows systems on Hack the Box to get that experience. I know that there was domain controllers is another big thing that you want to get experience with. And then you can even set up these Windows systems on your own lab. You can download Windows virtual machines, just like you're downloading things from VulnHub, completely for free. You don't have to like activate them and things like that. Just download them to your own network, set up a domain controller, build it up yourself, figure out how to do it, and then hack it and attack it and learn that way and practice things that you're learning from blogs and things like that right there on your local network. So again, build a domain and practice. Also, I would also add, don't allow tools like Metasploit to rob you of your understanding of exploitation. This was a big thing when I went for my OSCP, and one of my attempts of taking the exam, I'm not about to spill any spoilers, so don't get excited. But in one of my attempts, during my course leading up to the exam, I had on every Windows system, I'd just been using Metasploit to finish it. So by the time I got to the exam, all of my like privilege escalation knowledge on how to compromise Windows systems was relied on Metasploit. So I didn't have a good, well-rounded understanding of how to do Windows exploitation without that one tool, and it cost me a lot in the future when it came time to take it. I actually failed an attempt because of that reason. So I had to go back in and learn how to do things manually without relying on just one tool. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about getting familiar with popular tools. Try to have a wide variety and a good understanding of how to do things like manually as much as possible. And that way, when you do go to use other people's tools and things like that, one, you can modify their tools if you're good with the coding. And then two, you just have a better understanding of what's happening underneath the surface. So those are some good ways that I have for you to get better at hacking before you get a hacking job. Again, making sure that you get Windows experience too, just keeping an eye on your Windows skills as you're getting better and things like that. Linux should come naturally as you're just doing things. You'll probably be working from a Linux system. So yeah. Next section here. I kind of touched on some of these things, but again, getting better, making sure that you get an understanding of hacking in an Active Directory environment. Again, it may be tough to find an Active Directory like lab, but you may have to, this may be where you have to like pay to access like a lab that has Active Directory. You can try these attacks and things of that nature. And then another important thing is understand how to get a foothold or understand how to get a foothold like on a network. So in addition to like understanding tools and understanding just a general methodology of like what to do when you sit down at a computer and begin hacking, you also want to have a good understanding of like good plays. So it's kind of like football plays, like good plays that usually work, that have a high percentage of working initially. So like doing things like passing the hash and like doing NTLM relay attacks, understanding how to do like SQL injection and like password spraying, just understanding like how to do certain techniques that usually work minus SQL injection, but like having a good understanding of how to gain that first initial foothold and compromise that first system on a network is going to really help you out. So if you can, if I'm your interviewer and I say, okay, I got you on the network and you're starting out, and let's say that I give you some credentials. What are you going to do with those credentials next? So if you can take that question and just rattle off a bunch of things that you would do with um, with those credentials and starting, that's going to make you look really good. So if you can say, I'm going to take that hash that you give me or those credentials, I'm going to use them and spray them across the network and see if I can authenticate to other systems on the network. And then if I can get local admin on another system, I'm going to dump the SAM and dump the LSA. Like if you can rattle off things like that, and that speaks volumes that you have the experience, you know it, you breathe it. And again, the people that interview you, they're most likely going to be pen testers. There's going to be testers that have been doing this for years and years. People that can look at your facial expression when they ask you the question and can tell whether or not you know it just by how you react to the question. Those are going to be the types of people that you interview with. So yeah, so I'm going to get to some interview things here in a moment, but yeah, those are going to be the types of people that you're going to be having your interview with, and it can be pretty tough. Sometimes it'll be 5 people. I think in one of my interviews there was actually like the entire team of testers in that building was there, and it was pretty tough. But we'll get to that as well. Certifications that you should go for too. So again, this is kind of more of a money route. You can do certifications, things like the OSCP. If you can take some of the more advanced courses, again, these courses will be extremely difficult, but I don't know where everyone is. I did assume that you don't have any experience. So if you don't have any computer experience or any cybersecurity experience, these will not be for you. But if you are more technically apt, let's say you've gotten your OSCP or something like that, looking at other trainings like Spectre Ops training. I know Rasta Mouse has his Red Team course. And then there's other Red Team based courses that are out there. So, or even doing like the advanced, like hack the box lab environments like offshore and Rasta labs and things like that. So like if you can go through those things, and that those will be ways that show that you've gone above and beyond the OSCP and look extremely good. Again, extremely difficult. And even if you just say that you've tried it or you enrolled in those courses, it'll look really, really good on you. It will be difficult to get into those because most of those, the price point is, requires some sort of sponsorship usually. But if you're able to pay out of pocket or something like that, again, it'll be look extremely good for you. So hopefully that helped. I'm kind of running out of time here. I'm kind of over time, but I'm going to leave you all with this last section and talk a little bit about what pen testing interviews are like, and kind of give you some hints that will help you when you go and actually take your interview. So 1, never lie or exaggerate about your skill set. Don't ever do that in a pen testing interview. You can't fudge it. You can't make yourself look better. People know like really well. The best thing that you can do when you don't know something in a pen testing interview is say, hey, I've never like dealt with that. Can you actually explain that to me so I can like understand it and see? And when they explain it to you, that may relate to something that you already worked with. So even if you can ask a question, wait, is that kind of like, is dumping a domain controller, is that kind of like passing the hash a little bit? Yeah, it kind of is. So that will help. Dealing with things that you don't know about in that manner will help you out tremendously when it comes time to be in your interview. Again, don't ever lie about your skills or exaggerate your skills. And then you also don't want to just there and say, no, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. And just kind of like let it be dead space, because you do want to show interest that you care. And then even if you like look it up after the fact and send them a message and say, hey, I looked up what we talked about, and I saw that dumping the main controller or whatever is, you can do it this way. So those are some ways that can help you when you come across something that you've never heard about in an interview before. I would also say, again, show that you own your mistakes as well. So I would also encourage that you have like an entertaining failure story ready. I'll tell the story real quickly. This didn't happen at any jobs. I actually heard about this story, but there was a gentleman who did a penetration test, did everything well, and went and submitted his report for review, for peer review. And the other penetration tester that looked over the report realized that this person wrote this entire narrative explaining how they compromised their client's network and things like that. But what actually ended up happening was they ended up compromising their own system. So they're at the end, they show evidence that, hey, these are the local files on the system that I compromised. And you show that proof that you actually got it. So the tester walks in, he's like, hey man, did you realize that these are actually your files on your system and you actually hacked yourself and was about to give this report to the client about how you hacked your own self? So embarrassing. I'll tell that story because it's funny, and it's still funny to this day that it happened. But two, you're going to make mistakes in this industry. You're going to not do something well. I wouldn't encourage telling that story during your interview, but you will fail and you will make mistakes. So showing that you own your mistakes and that you're ready to, that you are confident and can present them will help you. So maybe make a lighter version of something funny that happened. Maybe you took a network down or something like that, but also show that you were able to overcome the embarrassment and fix it too. And then also the last thing that I'll leave you with too is this culture is in the hacking industry in general. You're going to be exposed to a lot of different things. It is an internet-based job, so I will say that you will be exposed to the internet and everything therein. You may see some things in this industry that you would not have seen if you were, decided to play professional tennis. I'm just going to say that as well. There is a lot of roasting and joking. The cybersecurity community, my experience has been, it's been very brotherly. I have brothers in my family, so it's very brotherly. There's a lot of joking and jabbing, punching. So when you come to your interview, and you want to show that one, you can take a joke, and two, show that you can give a little bit of pushback too. You don't want to always be taking the heat. You want to be able to dish some out a little bit too. So just showing that you're comfortable in the environment, you're comfortable, you joke a little bit back. Again, don't get carried away, but just show that you're comfortable, and that will speak a lot. That's also a big factor in determining if someone is fit at a lot of different companies and things like that. And also, obviously, you want to calibrate your approach too. So if you're in a more corporate setting, and they're not behaving like that, and you don't want to just take my advice and and just start making jokes and things like that. But obviously, calibrate yourself and read the room. But just know and understand, when they're asking you questions, if you can show a level of comfort, with joking, or maybe if you see them joking amongst themselves, and roasting each other, if you throw a little punch in there, that may help you out a little bit. So again, I'm over time here. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to stay in the room here. If you guys have questions, I didn't get to everything that I would have liked to have covered, but I think that we got most of the meat and potatoes in here, and I did my best to kind of make it clear as possible as well. So thank you for choosing this talk. Hopefully it helped you all. And, hopefully next time I see you guys will be wearing the mask and the gloves and things like that with your hoodies up, and you'll be professional hackers like my alter ego there. So try harder, keep working, and thank you for joining this talk. I appreciate it.